All right, everybody, welcome to During Business Hours. Let's get some autofocus on this. My name's Christopher, if you don't know. And man, today we're doing the solo podcast. So, for those of you who don't own a business, haven't dealt with customer service issues, lately I feel like there is an epidemic of people with higher expectations because they've gotten their way too often. And in my small business, an agreement made is an agreement set. Our expectations are laid out clear, extremely clear up front. And so we tend to make it dire when there is any, hey, there's no deposit refund on this. Are you sure you want to make a deposit on this? Are you going to be able to pay? If you can't, we'll be lenient about the time. If somebody needs more time on certain things, or are you sure you can do this? There's going to be a charge for this. Or are you sure you want to pay this? This is more expensive than the device. We are very clear about that because problems like the one I'm about to show you are very unfortunate. But some people are just so used to getting their way, they just don't give a shit. And so in my local small business, unfortunately, we had a customer yesterday that decided to thrash the store after she came in with her boyfriend on Saturday, decided they wanted to buy a phone, and so they bought an XS Max for $499, and from there they wanted another XS Max because they wanted to be matching. So we had two of them, and we're like, well, if you buy them both, we'll do $850. Buy one, put $100 down on the other, you owe $350 for the remainder. Math was good. We told her the first thing when we were like, it is a non-refundable deposit. If you don't come back, it is null and void. If you don't come back, don't call us. The $100 is gone, but the $100 is only going towards a phone. You can change the phone if you want, but that changes the parameters. The device deposit goes to this device because we'll remove it from all postings. It's essentially sold. So at that point, the labor of which to post this phone is why you're not getting a refund on your $100 deposit. We have to go through and repost it, do all this stuff. Then we can change that to another phone, and it's worth it to change those postings. If need be, something comes up, you change your mind, great. But the labor's already done on one, so that's why it's a non-refundable deposit. After explaining, somehow they had never heard that it was non-refundable, and they came in with the first phone saying it was a problem and that Metro would not activate the phone. I'm like, are you sure you have a Metro SIM card? You have an active account? Well, no, I don't. I'm like, well, did you take it to a third party or did you take it to someone who was trying to sell you a new phone? What does that matter? Well, most Metros in my area tend to try and sell somebody a cheaper alternative to the phone they usually get from us every time. We always warn people, hey, sing up the street. He always tries to tell you that the prices are over, the prices are too high for the phones that we sell. They are not. They are very competitive, very low actually in some of these phones. Yet the guy still says every time a customer goes there, we ripped him off basically. And it's unfortunate, but that's his opinion. He gets to share that. But I forewarn customers that their job is to sell you a device because that's where they make their money, especially at Metro. So I told them if they had their own SIM card, take the SIM card in, ask them, you just want to activate, you don't want to buy a new phone, just activate. Well, they came in yesterday from Saturday to Monday, we were closed, and they say, oh, the phone's not working. I throw a SIM card in, it's working just fine. I'm like, well, you might want to try a different carrier because it's an unlocked phone. Unfortunately, they were pretty mad. At that point, the girlfriend starts getting kind of mouthy about how she wants the deposit back for the second phone. It was never said that it was non-refundable. I'm like, any deposit is going to be non-refundable on a custom hold, especially, it's declaring that phone sold. That's your phone now. You've made a layaway payment on it. So they deny this and then say, well, you're lying. I want to see the video. So I record the video. Personally, I walk back, I record the video. At this time, she's already making threats to the store. And I'm like, ma'am, you need to calm down. Let me just go grab the video. Take me 2 minutes. Look it up, record the video. I show them the video. She tries to snatch the phone out of my hand, my phone, my 12 Pro Max. I put the phone down. Bing. It's a real simple issue where, hey, if you need more time, if it's a money issue, you could always take your time, get another phone, do whatever you want. You have time. I can extend this to a month if you want. That's not the problem. The problem is this is now a non-refundable deposit. Not now, but it was, as we stated when we sold it to you. So unfortunately, the next clip you're going to see is me letting her know that after numerous times and what she did next.
I have a week to pick up the phone.
I don't want your phone.
If you need a little time, you can always let us
I want my $100. I don't care about
There is no refund on the whole.
Okay, well, y'all need to get something. Take the $100 out your register or something.
That's not going to happen.
What the fuck? Yeah, I'm gonna fuck y'all store up. What are you talking about? No, I'm gonna fuck they store up. Fuck y'all got me fucked up. No, I'm gonna fuck y'all.
You go to jail? You want to go fucking jail? Call the cops. Now. Fucking tragic. You're tragic.
So at this point, I am following them out of the store and letting them know that they're tragic, because calling them trash or any of that is just going to be, the whole situation is sad, because I tried to de-escalate from fucking 25, 30 minutes beforehand, and at this point I'm like, there's nothing else I can do that's going to make you happy. We can move it to another device. Time, at this point they had a week. They didn't want more time. They didn't want more, they didn't want a discount. They just wanted a full refund, even though the device has already been activated, transferred, in data, everything. They already have the other device as well. And I think it's simply another store causing, an issue with expectations, because our expectations are clear. If we go back to Saturday's claim of when they were here, it wasn't the same people. So if I go to Saturday the 12th, this is our Arlo cam that gets all the front desk. It's the clearest audio. So that'll give you an idea of everything going on Saturday. And you'll see her in her little bonnet. And of course, this is Andrew trying to talk to them about the benefits of it. It's the boyfriend spending the money. That's the problem. So they're filling out all their personal information here after it's already been discussed that there's no refund on the hold. We'll play out this last minute of this clip. But you see how they're just a different couple here. I don't know what happened between Saturday and Monday that ensues the violence. So she got her hair done. See, the boyfriend's been calm and collected the entire time, which is so crazy. Even when he came back, the girlfriend is the one who was hyphy. Just look at the way the demeanor on the boyfriend is calm, cool, and collected. He's not a bad customer. He's totally fine. Every expectation is spent. So it's stated, there's also a sign here on the wall that says, all deposits or custom orders are non-refundable as per the store policy. Please refer to said store policy for more information. We have a store policy that's posted here, one that's on the counter, one that's also on the back wall. It makes it a little easier for people to know what our store SOPs are. The operating policy for a return on a canceled custom order on something like this is still a custom order. You're putting a deposit down like layaway. I say layaway even though it's not really layaway. It's you've bought this phone and we're hanging on to it until it's paid off. So we're now the creditor of sorts. This is your property, but we are withholding it until the balance is paid in full. And I was getting them the information they were asking for, but they were so far angry. So they had brought it in saying it wasn't working. That's where I'd take my personal SIM and swap it over. But they had bought it as a carrier lock device to T-Mobile. So this is where she stepped in. He understood it wasn't going to happen. He wasn't even asking about it. It was her that was asking about it. So here's the hype. She's staring at the cameras. It took me 2 minutes to grab the clip. This is the first time I'm seeing this myself. I haven't looked at every instance. But you can tell. So my father had noticed as he's there. they're getting antsy. So he's taking down the expensive things. Why is it that a lot of these, what I call baby mama drama, turns out to be people getting real hyphy real quick? I'm like, hold on, let's confirm that the SOP was followed. Let me view the tape. Let me see if you just signed the dotted line for no reason. No, they signed because they were explained the SOP. Like, here is our hold policy. Here is our retainer that you're paying for this phone. So I play them the footage.
You have a week to pick up the phone.
I don't want your phone no
Need a
more.
little
I
time.
don't
You
want
can
money.
always
I
let us
don't
know.
want $100. I don't care about
There
that.
is no refund on the whole.
Okay, well, y'all need to get something. Take the $100 out your register or something.
That's not gonna
What
happen.
the fuck? Yeah, I'm finna fuck y'all store up. What are you talking about? No,
So this has all happened in a matter of like 4 minutes.
No, I'm finna fuck y'all store
You go to jail?
up.
You want to go fucking jail? Call the cops. Yeah.
As soon as I say that, they booked running.
Fucking
And this
tragic.
is where it gets
Trash.
super sad because it's tragic. Like, I'm not going to call them trash human beings. I don't know what they do in their day-to-day life, but that $100 is worth them serving 6 months in jail for vandalism. There's $3,000 worth of equipment and things on that rack, and the rack itself is broken. That's about $400. The vandalism's probably around $3,500. I have the capability now of texting them and saying, hey, probably over $1,000 in damaged goods, you know, verifiably packaging, contents, them stomping over all the boxes on their way running out. The rack is damaged. There's easily $1,500 that I could say, you now owe me $1,500. I'll take the deposit for one, is $100 in cash that we have of value. 2, I can blacklist your phone if you do not pay the $1,500. 3, send them to jail. What is jail going to do? Nothing. I could civilly sue them, and then they'll just work under the table for the rest of their lives. So at what point, which route does a normal business owner take? Well, the average business owner, I've spoken to a few, say just assume. You have their information, sue them. Cops can't do what you can do, sue them. So I've thought about that. Then the problem is, if it is baby mama drama, what about the kid? You know, if there's a kid involved, I'd hate to be the parent making a mistake over anger. And then it becomes the concern of, do I take away somebody's parent over a 4-minute mistake? Or do I give them the offer to pay it? So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to send them a message saying, hey, here's your options. You can pay for the damage to the store, or I can blacklist the excess max that you had bought from us and take collateral of the $100 that you had paid towards the other excess max. At that point, they'll be without 2 phones. It'll be a $700 loss to them, $1,500 loss to me. Yeah, it's pointless, but the entirety of this whole thing was pointless. They had been thoroughly explained how a deposit, a non-refundable deposit for a hold works. And then I explained it back to them how a non-refundable deposit works in our store. Also, the SOP is on the wall. They were given the expectation, and within 4 minutes, she was just hyped up, looking for a problem. Even if I gave her the money, and I know a lot of people are going to say you should have just given her the money, it still would have been a problem, and she would have left here feeling like this victorious person who's going to do it to another store. Just push her way through. We are in the service industry, and I personally value my time above a lot of things. I get it. But that's because most people don't. And I am one of the people who will sit here and say my time is of value to me. So my time is worth that $100 versus somebody else who's just going to give it back and say, oh, you know, I've earned a customer. That customer was lost the moment they said they wanted a refund. The moment they entered back into the business, they were lost. They weren't your customer anymore. And discerning that, you're not going to win that customer over with gifts or jewelry or flattery. There's nothing you're going to do. That customer is gone, and sometimes you have to fire a customer. We have fired that customer. And in my opinion, I think they were brought in from Facebook from the South Sacramento, which, you know, Facebook's good for a couple of things, but lately, they have not been good for customer acquisition. They have brought in some very hyphy customers. And I get it. I grew up in Rio Linda, North Highlands, El Paso Heights. That's where I'm from. And when I joined the military, life had changed drastically. But never in my youth would I act like this in a store. Because my parents would rather beat me and get escorted out of the store looking like heroes to the local parents back in the 90s versus having an outburst like this. The nearest I remember is my parents got into a fight with AMPM over their non-wet signs because my brother had smacked his head. And that was the nearest thing that happened for security or concern for children. You know, my mom ended up having a pretty big case. She could have sued AMPM. They didn't have any wet signs. They had like spilled jugs of water, and me and my brother just kind of slid over, and he slipped and hit his head. We both had sandals on, but his sandals get flung off when, of course, he fell. So the guy was like, "He doesn't have shoes on. What are you in my store for?" Hilarious argument. I just remember standing there going, "Are we in trouble?" Mom takes, "Oh, call an ambulance." No, okay, we'll take him to the hospital. Get all the information. But, you know, never made a scene about a store or not understanding the policies. The policy was very clear. I could, yes, to those who will say I absolutely could have just refunded the $100 and been gone. But at that point, it wasn't just about the $100. They wanted a full refund for something else that they had talked to another Metro store. And that's the concern that started all of this. And I pound the concern that collaboration over competition is one of our biggest assets in this industry. No matter if I have 1 or 1,000,000 one-star reviews, I will always gain business from word of mouth, either from other stores or other people, because if you need something and you ask something of me, more than likely I'm going to give it to you. I will help you. I am not the guy who's just, nope, don't come at me. You can catch me on a bad day. Cool, come in the next. Everyone's got those days. But man, if you come out with a smile, there is a great chance you're going to get your way. I am a fucking softy for people having their needs met. I understand it. But that's our lesson for the day, and we'll let you know exactly how this pans out. Mr. Devontae and Miss Graham will find out what happens and how they reply and if we have to blacklist the device.